Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a best of 5 series of top level StarCraft 2 played on the new multiplayer balance patch on the StarCraft 2 PTR. Now in game number 1 we find ourselves on a map called Ley Lines and spawning right here in the bottom left hand corner, playing with the red Protoss pieces from Germany. We're looking at none other than ShoWTimE's main Nexus. His opponent up in the top right with the blue SCVs. You know him, you love him, we have the world champ. He goes by the name of Clem. Alrighty. Now, we've recently seen these two play against other opponents, but we did recently see them play on the PTR, and both of them looked extremely strong. I was very impressed with ShoWTimE's performance against Shin. I was talking about it at length at the time, but in a very strange way, ShoWTimE, believe it or not, made the mothership look overpowered. Yeah. I don't really know exactly what you do when it's played like that. Now, I'm sure there's a way, but I don't think I've ever uttered those words before. ShoWTimE made the mothership look pretty much impossible to stop, which is cool, which is very cool, because we haven't ever seen the mothership be, well, really anything more than quite useful. Maybe it's about time it gets its turn in the spotlight as well. I mean, back in the day, I say that right now, back in the day, if you're a StarCraft boomer like myself, remember the MVP versus Squirtle GSL Code S games? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The mothership had an ability called Vortex. And Protoss, this is a long time ago, okay? I guess I can kind of explain this. They had an ability called Vortex, and the way that it worked is you would throw it on the ground, and units would be sucked towards the center. So it was like a giant vortex, like a black hole type of ability, and everything would like be dragged towards the center. And then after about like 10 seconds, the units would pop back out again. Now, a common Protoss strategy back in the day was what was called the Archon Toilet. Yeah, if you've never heard of this stuff before, it may sound weird, but it was an actual strategy. So Archons deal splash damage in a small radius, and what would happen is whenever the vortex would run out, the units would slowly spread out again. It would take a couple seconds to like float back away again from that center, and in the meantime, those Archons would destroy everything. So they tried adjusting Vortex a couple of times, but ultimately they ended up removing the mothership ability because it was unbalanceable. Ever since then, the mothership has been a mediocre unit, to say the least. Now, of course, in this particular matchup, I don't think the mothership is going to be useful. Maybe. But the Viking is still fantastic. And I'm sure Clem will be more than happy to make a couple of those bad boys. Especially if Protoss decides to go for some of those slightly upgraded Colossus. That's the new Nexus ability right over there, so that sentry getting a little bit of an energy boost from the Nexus is going to allow him that hallucination scout. And this is definitely by far my favorite change with the new balance patch. Oh, Clem already anticipating it. Love that. Woo! He knew the timing of that hallucinated Phoenix, and he knew where to position his Marines to intercept it. Wonderful job right there by the world champ. Anyways, that change right over there as we have a new one already flying across. Yeah, it's big. It's allowing a lot more variety for Protoss, and it's certainly a very skill-based ability. So it's replacing the shield battery overcharge, but I don't think anybody is not a fan of it. Now, keep in mind that the Cyclone can now only ever be produced out of a factory with a tech lab on it, so this is the reverted Cyclone. It means that Marine Cyclone pushes are certainly still a thing, as Clem is showing us here, but it's a lot more commitment from the Protoss player. And I wonder what this would have looked like if it was a Stargate build. Stargate builds in general is the reason why the change to the Cyclone has been made, because they just previously murdered Adepts. With this particular setup, they will still murder Adepts, but it's a lot more of a commitment right here from Clem to actually get this strategy going. Okay. Now, Blink is going to finish up. We are just on 2 gateways, but a third one is finishing. We don't have a third Nexus anywhere yet. Does ShoWTimE realizing, or is he realizing rather, that this attack is going to be coming across very soon? I think so. He doesn't really see exactly when this attack is going to hit, but he already has, well, 2 shield batteries set up. Oh, Blink is finishing very quick. Yeah, nicely done here by ShoWTimE. Still, though, that Siege Tank is going to get in position. But I honestly believe that ShoWTimE can easily overwhelm this. I think Clem needs to get the hell out of here. This entire Terran army must be purged. If it's up to ShoWTimE anyways. Like, he will gladly lose a siege tank. That doesn't really matter. There we go. Aggressive blink forward. Medevac goes down. Siege tank on the back of it. The Marines are maximizing their damage. One sentry is trying to see if it can also join in the fight. Okay, so as the dust settles, that was not a successful attack for Clem. I think that was mostly experimentation right there from Clem, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's just seeing whether or not these pushes are still viable. Maybe it'd be better against any sort of variety here from Protoss, right? Like a different flavor of Protoss early game. Against good old Blinky boys, it does seem like the Stalkers will be able to shut it down pretty easily. I don't even think ShoWTimE played that perfectly, to be honest. He didn't really need the second shield battery there. Like, I think he probably could have... Obviously, this is one of his first times playing against it too, but he probably could have avoided it. Great interception here. Yeah, ShoWTimE is playing some fantastic StarCraft. I've been liking every game that I've seen ShoWTimE play as of late. Here comes the hallucinated Phoenix, and it's going to provide high ground vision. Something else that Protoss can use. Now, he was thinking about blinking into the main base. Decides better of it. Didn't want to commit. But this now would have... If he would have done it right, it would have hit a little bit earlier, then this observer would have been able to provide high ground vision. It is nice. It is really nice. Robo Bay getting the extended thermal lens. Colossus coming up. The holy trinity of Terran upgrades, though, is building. For the stim pack, for the combat shields, for the +1 infantry attacks. Amen. We do have something getting shut down over here on the other side of the map. That looked like a cyclone, but I don't think it was. That doesn't make any sense. Something died. We will never know what it was. I could go back. I could go back, but I won't. A little bit of a scouting tool over there. Oh, it must have been an auto turret. That's what it was. Auto turret from the Raven. Alright. Let's try to target fire down the low HP units. Not quite getting them down. That would require max specs. Max specs would have picked off every single one of those Marauders somehow, but... Well, he's going to try and see if he can grab some of the straggling units. A Colossus at this point is available, though. And I don't know if Clem is gonna get shut down this time around as easily. Those siege tanks are in a really lovely position. Dude, Clem is always studying these games, man. He knows exactly how to play the new maps already. These maps are so fresh. But he's already getting really good ideas. Now, these are good force fields. That energy ability has been used about a gajillion times already on the sentries. Those sentries being a lot more useful than we normally see them. The sentries, though, are running low in HP. Ultimately, they end up going down, and that is a very dangerous play, because it now means that we no longer have any force fields. Marauders do decide to go across those beams. Blink on top of that siege tank clump, though, does ultimately shut it down. Maybe these Stalkers can get the rest of these Terra units. Okay. Nice drop down right there from Clem. Can't believe he actually saved one Marauder for now. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. He keeps dropping them down. That guy got dropped out of the low HP one and then put into the high HP medevac. Ultimately, everything died. But it was still stylish. Ghost Academy on the back of this. Keep in mind that the Ghost is now 3 supply rather than 2. Small nerf. Don't think it's very significant. But it is going to make it a little bit weaker overall. And Clem is trying to do this thing that he likes to do where he smothers his opponent, man. We have some hallucination draws over here for those Widow Mines. Colossus here trying its very best, but their damage output is just pathetic against those Marauders. Colossi are kind of like the Brute Lord of Zerg, or of Protoss rather, man. Like they just deal no damage. Like they're good against specific targets, but against anything else, they're kind of garbage. Clem coming in, drops down a couple of auto turrets. Clem is ready to throw the kitchen sink at the opponent as well, if that is what it takes, but he gets one of the Colossi for free, and that is one of those mistakes he's been looking for a while, and immediately. I mean, Clem had to work for it, but immediately, that's a tap out. Welcome to Amygdala. Interesting map. This is the map with all the rocks. There's rocks right here, rocks right there, rocks right here, rocks right here, rocks right here, rocks right here. There's rocks right over here, there's rocks right over there. There's more rocks and there's rocks and then there's rocks over there's rocks and then there's also rocks over here too. Yeah. This is the map with the many rocks, but they're all in the middle of the map. This is a strange looking mountain, I guess. We could have just had a mountain now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe that would have been a better way of doing it. But then again, StarCraft players and commentators are like, we don't go outside. So we don't really know how they work. Plus, I live in the Netherlands. Tallest spot of the Netherlands is like 200 meters above sea level, dude. We don't have any mountains. We have a lot of rocks. Anyways. Is this... I wonder how these new maps work out. I feel like this map, like my gut instinct is telling me that this map is wonderful for Terran, but I can't quite tell you why. I feel like nobody can ever mine the gold except for Terran. But maybe I'm mistaken. Zerg definitely won't. I feel like Protoss also is not going to have an easy time. The thing about Terran is that all of their units, other than the SCV and the Mule, are ranged. And... taken, like, how are you gonna... I don't see... yeah, no, I don't see Protoss mining it. I don't see Zerg mining it in particular. Maybe Protoss can find a way, but... ShoWTimE. Trying to bully his opponent a little bit. Command center will start up now. Nexus is already building on the other side of the map. There is a little visual doodad right over there at the bottom of that structure. Same for Terran. That will indicate whether or not it's perfectly in the center. Yeah, we have them over here at that base too. A little one over here. I always like that when map makers do that. That's actually the norm these days. It's one of those things that you don't even really realize you pay attention to when you're playing the game. But when you're playing on a map that doesn't have it, I know some of the team game maps, or some of the team maps don't have them. It gets very confusing. You're like, where do I put the thing? How do I put it down? Even with build grid on, it takes about a 1/10 of a second longer, dude. It's a long time. At least that's what my girlfriend told me. Anyways, Sentry once more coming up. So we're going Stalker Sentry. Stalker Sentry into instant energy. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, right? Transfer! Bloop! I like this. I like this a lot. There's nothing I don't like about this. Did I already tell you guys that I like this? No, genuinely though. So, the early game for Protoss is usually very dark. The map is dark and full of Terrans. That has been the Protoss mantra for many years now, but maybe the map is no longer dark. It is still full of Terrans, but at the very least one of the two issues seems to be resolved somewhat. So what does he scout? Nothing out of the ordinary. But still, he will at least have an understanding of what could be coming across. Now, I wonder if it's possible to go Stalker into Sentry into Stargate? Probably not. So, Clem seeing the Stalker, and even though he didn't see the Sentry directly, I don't think he personally saw it, or maybe the Reaper had a glimpse. Maybe it already tells Clem here enough as well, that this is never going to be a Stargate follow-up, although it could technically be like an anti-timing, I guess. Yeah. It should give Clem the heads up here that he can go across the map with the Widow Mines. Now, this gets spotted as well from a mile away. ShoWTimE brings a couple of Stalkers out to play. He's like, you wanted to drop my mineral line? How about you drop them off right over here on your side of the map instead? Okay. Robotics facility on the back of this. Third Nexus coming up as well for ShoWTimE. Looks like the medevac did find an opportunity to go towards the other side of the map. I like this, by the way. I know nobody ever talks about the background of maps, and I know we have an engagement coming in, but I love the planet over here. This is basically a fight over a space platform with a lot of rocks on it. Yeah. Apparently there's an Amygdala too. I don't want to flex, but I also have an Amygdala. Yeah. I'm keeping it for myself. I put it inside of my head a long time ago. It's not coming out. Anyways. Look at that. Look at that planet. It is cool, dude. I like space platforms like that. He's being a bit of a jerk. Stalkers have to be recalled. Because Clem is being a bit of a jerk. Burrow, I'm gonna shoot! Never mind. Burrow, I'm gonna shoot! Never mind. Burrow, oh, blink. Jebate it. I think you got what you came for, though. Oh. 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 Blink. He picked the wrong one! No! Clem wins the minigame. Congratulations. I just want to point out that he also filled up his production tab during all of that. That's the difference between pro gamers and non-pro gamers. He did also macro while all of that was going on. Okay. ShoWTimE, getting the extended thermal lens. We're gonna go double forge. In the meantime, on the other side of the map, we have additional barracks. A third command center. Here goes the bio ball. Do you think they sing songs? Like, obviously we're in space, right? So I'm assuming they're communicating within their helms, right? They probably have some sort of like walkie-talkies inside of their suits, maybe like a Vox, right? There's gotta be some songs that are being sung over here when those Marines are marching across the map. I wonder what it is. And I would walk 100, but it has to be Protoss themed, I would imagine. Would you say this is a sacrifice, or is this the commanding officer? Maybe they're singing sea shanties. I like that. Yeah. A lot of ideas. I'm afraid this is the type of information we will never know. Oh, and I could kill 100 Zerg, and I would kill 100 Toss. Something like that. It would make sense. Look at this guy. He's just hanging out. My favorite part about Marines, and something that doesn't really make any sense in my mind, is when they suddenly find the combat shield. Like, they've had this combat shield in their pockets the entire time, and they're like, wait a second, we could equip it! And they suddenly all whip out their plus 10 HP. Ghost Academy coming up. I like how in every game that I've casted on the new patch, we don't really see ghosts. Maybe this game will be the one. The community has been begging for a ghost nerf, but Clem seems to dismantle his opponents long before ghosts are ever a consideration. Lovely control there again as well by the Frenchman. Here they are though. 3 supply. Every single one of them. If we are reverting things to previous patches, I feel like the Ghosts, or sorry, the Dark Templars, blink ability needs to be reversed as well. Once upon a time it was a little bit stronger. Nowadays, when you blink with the Dark Templar, it has like, I think it's like 0.8 seconds where it's just standing around doing nothing. I feel like that needs to be reverted. It needs to be able to attack immediately after blinking. That was one of the silliest changes I've ever seen in any patch ever. It's just dumb. I don't like it at all. We never really see Blinky Boys anymore for Dark Templar. I think they're fun. Sometimes we see them. We see them in like Protoss versus Protoss, I guess. Anyways. Disruptors coming up. Keep in mind that Disruptors have been adjusted in this patch. So they're back to their radius of 1.5, which is their old radius. But they now deal less damage. So they deal 100 damage per attack. Meaning that they one-shot Marines. They one-shot Ghosts. But they no longer one-shot Marauders, because Marauders have 125 health. This is a major, major change. I don't really know if I like that. There's the blink. Okay, we are gonna go for the Dark Templar Shadow Stride immediately. Even though these Terran units will have +2 armor, or +1 armor by the time that the Disruptors can really connect. Spells in StarCraft 2 ignore armor. And the Purification Nova is a spell. Oh! Clem! That was entirely unnecessary, but I love it. He saved those SCVs from certain death, treating his command center like a medevac. It's those little things, man. Like, a lot of people are saying Terran's overpowered, and maybe that's the case. But my god, Clem is overpowered. Like, little plays like that are so smooth. Didn't even look like he did anything. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Marauders no longer get one-shot, but Clem doesn't take damage from Disruptors anyways. Disruptors for Clem are very much so a, I need to keep looking at this type of setup. Because generally speaking, he doesn't take a lot of big hits to the face. Now the balls are bigger. So maybe they're more likely to deal damage as well. Keep in mind that with a radius increase, you also effectively increase the range. Nice targeting there. Okay. Oh, he targets the Disruptor again. Woo! Now that the Colossal... Oh my god, he keeps targeting the freaking right ones. My eyeballs are tracing the freaking Nova there, but somehow, some way, Clem is individually controlling his... Is he a chameleon? Okay, he's not. No, he's not. No, okay, thank God. He is a human after all. I thought for a second he could move his eyeballs independently from one another, man. Jeez Louise. Terrans, when the Novas come in, one of them is one of them sticks on the Disruptor, the other eyeball chases around. That's insane. All right. Well, that was still a really good fight though for ShoWTimE in the end, even though I was fanboying over Clem. The way that ShoWTimE was fighting that was really clean. Plus, well, he's gotten a lot of economy on the back of this. What if Clem could have microed against that last one too, but just because he wanted everyone to believe that he's not an artificial intelligence, he took that hit to the face on purpose? What if he just... He wants you guys to believe. He wants us to think that he's a human. Because that one was very dodgeable. How he dodged the ones in the middle of the fight, but not the one that came after the engagement is a little strange, no? I'm just saying. Maybe next time Clem is at a tournament, shut down the Wi-Fi for a little bit, see if he still does anything. Could be a robot. +2 air weapons coming up right now for the Terran player. And we are going to be going for that rich base. ShoWTimE already took his, by the way, a little while ago. There's not enough room in the medevacs for everybody. Sorry about that. Some of those units will get sacrificed. Keep in mind, by the way, that the sensor towers are now salvageable, but they are significantly less powerful as they once used to be. So maybe Clem can kind of see something coming in here, but there's the Dark Templar blink, and there is a dead planetary fortress. Protoss now also going after that base that I was thinking was going to be easier for Terran to take than for Protoss, but he's had his for a little while already. And now that Terran's securing the gold, he's the one harassing it. Planetaries are dying left, right, and center. ShoWTimE, dude. Phenomenal. I really like what ShoWTimE is doing here. Look at him. Going all over. ShoWTimE with a casual 482 actions per minute on average. And that's ultimately what's making him very fast and very good, right? Like, this is about 2 professional Protoss players combined. Insane. Couple DTs still running around. These were the ones in charge of killing the planetary earlier, and a couple of SCVs as well. Another Nova. That Marauder would have died in the previous patch. Gets to live another moment longer, but I've got a feeling that this Protoss army is looking a little bit too mighty. 49 SCVs go down. And in a straight-up macro game, ShoWTimE seems to be winning against Clem, who's playing a really good game. Like, this is not Clem playing poorly. This is ShoWTimE playing better. Triple Colossus on the production tab. This man is constructing skyscrapers by the boatload, man. Very nice. At this point, all of the Vikings have disappeared. There's just 2 remaining. He had to lend those in a desperate situation earlier. And that means that once more, well, the Colossi are back on the menu. Clem does still have a reasonable economy, but nothing compared to the Protoss. It's just a lot of Zealots right now, dude. These Zealots are mostly just here to drive it home. Terran can run, but they can't run forever. Couple Novas here. I've seen a lot of Protoss players kill their own Zealots with Novas. That is suboptimal. I guess the Zealots also won't die anymore in one Nova, so that's nice. That's the real buff, dude. Purification Nova doesn't kill Zealots anymore in one hit. It's alright. I thought it was very funny to myself. Anyway. Diamond Protoss players rejoice. GG. Dang it. Now that I think about it a little bit more. Yes, the Disruptor deals less damage, but they still deal the same amount of damage to units with shields. So maybe don't go out Novaing your own Zealots. They will still. They will get one shot. Alrighty, Whispers of Gold is map number 3 in this best of 5 series. Gotta say, so far, now that I've seen quite a few games on the maps, I like them a lot. We've started looking at the details. Now, what in the world is this? Is this a Thor standing underneath like a dome and there's like, I don't know. Maybe this is like an electricity warning. If you're a Thor or you're a Terran unit piloting some big mechanical structure unit, whatever, maybe make sure you don't get electric. I don't know what's going on. Wraith? Am I doing this right? Wraith awaiting launch orders. I think that's it. Nothing over here. Oh, we have a Goliath. Goliath online. Very nice. Yeah, so this has to be a Thor. Maybe it's an SCV? No, it's a Thor. Maybe it's an SCV. Could be an SCV. It's a very large SCV. At least compared to, This is where you get gas. Even though this is relatively futuristic, apparently, yeah, we're that's still our main resource. That's where we're using. Fair enough. More Goliaths. Oh, what's this? We have a couple of rockets. All right, not bad. Yeah, there's a lot of gas that you can get on this map. But it's like a gas that has like little plus symbols right next to it. So maybe it's like gas that heals you. Beautiful. All right. I know there's actually, speaking of gas that heals you, I know there's actually a new map feature that we haven't seen in any of the ladder maps yet. But this is something that the map makers have been experimenting with a little bit. It's like a healing fountain. It's like a Warcraft 3 healing fountain that is out on the map. So basically the way this works is you just have like a little thingy over here and then the units stand over there and then you heal up. It's something that looked very good for Protoss in particular. Because you could, like for example, dive deep with an Oracle in the early game. And then even though usually those healing fountains were, well, out in the middle of nowhere, you could obviously fly over there with your Oracles, get a bit of HP back, and you could continue to harass another day. Especially with the Nexus energy ability, it could actually be a big buff. Anyways. Oh, look at that. We have like a... I can't quite tell if this is a Thor punishment or a Thor that's being produced. Looks like this SCV over here, this giant whatever it is not really finishing the job, man. I feel like it's gotten... My original thought was this was a Thor in the midst of being produced. But I think it's being torn apart. Oh, a little bit of Thor BDSM. Anyways. We don't judge. Blink coming up. We've got ourselves the robotics facility building right now as well. And ShoWTimE not really changing his course too much. So we're going Stalker into Sentry into energy on that Sentry over and over and over again. I mean, it does take a little bit of energy, so you need to have it available. But he's using it to continuously scout what Terran's up to. And what our Terran player here is up to is a nice little medevac drop. 1 Widow meme, 6 Marines. And this is a little dangerous, of course, because sentries don't deal much damage. We don't have a shield battery over here. Ooh. Has ShoWTimE just been caught off guard from one of the most basic attacks? Obviously, additional Stalkers are coming. Do we have a third gate? We do not. He decided to prioritize the Robo facility here. Okay. Apparently, oh, he's trying to sack the Stalker to try and get it to deal a lot of friendly fire to the Terran player there. Clem anticipating it, it seemed, but he still got pushed away. Liberator, ready to go up north. Engineering bay in the back of the Terran's main. Additional barracks right now as well coming up, so not really much of a deviation here from Clem. Like, I guess he can, if he wants to, he could play like something like the new Cyclone, right? Like, he maybe go play like Battlemech or something, but overall, I think Terran is not really the race that's changed too much fundamentally. They don't really have to worry so much about new build orders, but Protoss and Zerg alike will have to reinvent some of those early game strats. Sorry, I'm trying to think what's going on in this cube. What's happening there? What is happening on Whispers of Gold, dude? We have the Thor that's being... what is going on this map? This is the story of this map. Why is it called Whispers of Gold anyways? Oh yeah, we did see a little bit of like a shimmer flying around in some areas. I thought it was the Lisan al-Gaib, which, you know, Clem is. A lot of people, whenever he comes on camera in offline tournaments, now start spamming Twitch chat with Lisan al-Gaib. Because he, you know, I don't know. I guess he looks a little bit like Timothée Chalamet and he's French. That's where the similarities end. Alright, this base will end up getting cancelled. Anyways, look, here's the little Goldie bits. You see the little Goldie bits flying around? There you go. The spice must always flow. This is one of those games where ShoWTimE is just not getting going at all. Like, ever since that Marine drop in the main base, he's just kind of staying alive and he's staying afloat, but I'm not liking this position here for Protoss. All memes aside, just a single medevac drop, 6 Marines and a Widow Mine. It's a relatively basic build, of course, from Terran. We see it all the time. You can tell right here why it's so good. Stimpec, finishing up. +1 infantry. Not too far behind it. Same can be set right here as well for the combat shield, so that one will take a little bit longer. I've got a feeling as soon as Clem goes across the map with a big army, yeah, which may be right about right now, this is gonna hit like an absolute truck. Now, there is light at the end of the tunnel here for ShoWTimE. He needs to get his Size Storms done as quickly as possible. Size Storm, though, much like Purification Nova, very good, but also something that Clem can micro against. Okay, the Observer here in the back does see this coming in. Stimpec is done. Charge is also available. We do have the High Templar right over there inside of the plane. Oh no, don't lose the... Oh, geez, okay, I thought for a second he lost the... He was gonna lose the Prism there. The Storm gets spotted. And honestly, seeing that first one is big, because now Clem can anticipate it. When he doesn't know that that's a thing, it's a lot harder to micro against. But now you've seen one, maybe you took a bit of damage. We can actually work against it a little bit. Or not. Ooh, nice snatch right there by ShoWTimE. Although, good target firing there as well by Clem. Kept the Immortal alive, but he did lose the Templar. To be fair, those Templar are high. Their reaction speed is just not, you know. It happens. Double Ghost Academy. Yo! Clem loves the Ghost so much, he's going double Ghost Academy. Eventually, the Zealots are charging away at this, though. And while Clem will get cleaned up over here, there is a drop going on inside of the main base of the Protoss player, too. So, ShoWTimE not quite out of the woods yet. Fun fact, actually, when you have 2 Ghost Academies, your Ghosts produce twice as quick. Did you know that? Yeah. That's a lie, but, you know. I can guarantee you there's at least 2 people that believe me. Counter-attack here as well from ShoWTimE. The reason why Clem has gone for double Ghost Academy is because he's pretending to be a human. Much like what we saw in the previous game. Nice micro over here. He's pretending like he's a human and he makes mistakes. Prism is now in trouble and that's the end. Yeah, GG. Next up, we find ourselves on Snowpiercer. Match point right here for Clem. ShoWTimE just never really getting the ball rolling in the previous game. Yeah, it's one of those setups, right? So this is something that happens really only to Protoss. I know Protoss is getting a lot of love this patch, so I don't think this is really something that needs to be adjusted. But generally speaking, when Protoss has a rough early game, like a less than perfect early game, it's GG. Whereas, like, if Terran has a less than perfect early game, usually we transition to the mid game. And maybe Terran is going to be continuously behind for a little while longer, but it's recoverable. Protoss has very little comeback potential at that stage in the match. So what ended up going down in the previous game is ShoWTimE took too much damage from the first medevac drop. 6 Marines and a Widow Mine. It just dealt too much damage. And then you're on the back foot the entire time, and in the meantime, Clem is building up his economy. Clem is doing Clem things, as in, he doesn't make mistakes. And then, yeah, it's really hard. New maps are working out really nicely, by the way. I think overall the maps are sufficiently different without being crazy. I'm excited to see some other playstyles as well. Like, there's not a ton of replays available yet on the new multiplayer balance patch, but I am excited to, for example, see MaxPax compete. I feel like MaxPax is gonna be glorious to witness. Essentially, Protoss is slightly better across the board, right? That is the TLDR. Like, if you didn't read the patch notes, if you don't really dive into all of the details, Protoss is slightly better. Nothing all too significant. I think there might be some stuff that is gonna be reverted until the, like, for example, the mothership abduction thing. I don't think that's gonna make it to the live version of the game. Maybe it will. I don't know. Anyways, there might be some small adjustments, but overall, across the board, I think Protoss is slightly better. And we already see MaxPax really only lose against, well, really 3 players. I don't ever see MaxPax lose against anybody else, but he loses to Clem sometimes. He's probably about 60-40 in Clem's favor. And he loses against Cyril, and then he loses against Raynor. I think if the new balance patch goes live the way it is, he might be actually favorite against both Cyril and Raynor. I would not be surprised. MaxPax has been so good. Anyways, I'm excited to get my hands on some of his replays too. Smash like and subscribe so you get notified when that goes live. I have to be a real YouTuber sometimes. Yeah. Okay, you don't have to smash it. Just gently caress the like button. Yeah. If you're on a touchscreen, use your nose. No, that would be nice. Jokes aside, though, I am pretty excited to see the top level players compete. Woo! That is one hell of a Widowmine shot. We should have seen a tiny little split there. Ultimately, those units are always going to go down, but that was about as good as it was going to be. ShoWTimE, by the way, mixing it up this time around. So we went for that triple sentry start. And now we're going into the Phoenix. Now, unlike the mythological creature, these units over here, they will not resurrect. The only way you can resurrect them is by not letting them die in the first place. It's an interesting way of doing it. Very strange way, honestly, but... Even though they look like paper planes, they're actually relatively tanky. One of the few Protoss units that can actually survive a Widowmine hit. Anyways. At least one of the early game units, right? A lot of other units will die. Here's that random accumulation of Terran. Oh, Widowmine. Ooh, careful. Okay. He does lift off the Widowmine, but obviously... Oh, he attacked his own Nexus. We're lacking those additional adepts from earlier. One of the Phoenixes goes down. The Terran army will, of course, get pushed back eventually. Clem is really just trying to maximize damage here. This is another one of those games where, like, Protoss is just not really getting the ball rolling very much. Like, especially with Phoenix builds, you can't really afford taking a lot of early game damage. This is by no means a ton, and this is very recoverable, but it's... You can kind of feel that momentum just being slightly in favor here of Clem, who is fully aware of the fact he's playing against a Phoenix opener, still decides to send the Banshee uncloaked across the map. Banshee cloaking, though, is going to finish up right now. We have absolutely no detection. There's no detection. There's no Oracle. We have a robo facility, but no observer. Recall is going to be used right now on the Phoenixes. Alright. There's the observer finally coming in. 5 probes go down, and that entire Protoss army is off of his back. Excellent situation here once again for Clem. Stimpak. Combat shields is going to be in that one. And then we have the +1 infantry attacks coming up here as well. The Holy Trinity is back. There it is, man. This is what Terran players dream of. Having a relatively smooth early game, and then smacking the opponent in the face when the Trinity is finished. Okay. This is Phoenix Colossus. Phoenix Colossus is one of those unit compositions that can be extremely good defensively. Already, ShoWTimE has taken a little bit more damage than you want to. And it may very well snowball, but it is something... Maybe on Snowpiercer, it will snowball. Sorry. Yeah, maybe don't hit the like button. That was cringe. Phoenix, like, you kind of need to get the ball going, right? Like, you need to continue harassing here. Bunch of the units going down. It does slow everything down a bit, but it all comes down to this engagement right over here. So Clem, making himself up for the push. He moves away from home right before those upgrades finish up. It means that he will get across the map when those upgrades are done. Third command center in the meantime on the back of this. Additional barracks, that is number 4 and 5, coming up as well. We will eventually get to charge and all the rest of it, but it's not going to be done even remotely for this upcoming push right here. So let's see, how much damage can Clem do? It's do or die right now for ShoWTimE. No! Don't lose one of them for free! Don't lose a robo facility for free either! Okay, well, that's bad. Yeah. My expert analysis says that that was really bad. Oh my god. He's just walking the entire Protoss army. Colossus is like, you get back here! Get off my lawn! Finally, when the Phoenix is can come in, they've already been, yeah, killed. That was perfectly executed by Clem, though. All jokes aside, right? Like, the reason why this is looking very one-sided is because Clem is a freaking monster. This reminds me of all those patches long ago where they tried to nerf Serral specifically, and Serral was like, okay, don't care, I will continue dominating anyways. This is giving me a very similar vibe where yeah, it might not be Terran, it might just be Clem. Clem is just better. It's a lot of perfect execution, right? And it's just, yeah, there's nothing you can do. Absolute domination here in these final games by Clem. He wins the series 3-1.